The Adventure of the Speckled Band. Of all the cases I studied with my friend Sherlock Holmes, I cannot recall any which presented more singular features than that associated with the well-known Surrey family of the Roylotts of Stoke Moran. A promise of secrecy was made at the time, from which I have only recently been freed by the untimely death of the lady to whom the pledge was given. It is perhaps as well that the facts should now come to light. It was early in April in the year that I woke one morning to find Sherlock Holmes standing, fully dressed, by the side of my bed. The clock on the mantelpiece showed me that it was only 7:15.
Very sorry to knock you up, Watson, but it's the common lot this morning. Mrs. Hudson has been knocked up, she retorted upon me, and I on you.
What is it then? A fire?
No, client. It seems that a young lady has arrived in a considerable state of excitement, who insists upon seeing me. She is waiting now. When young ladies wander about the metropolis at this hour, I presume it is something very pressing. Should it prove to be an interesting case, I am sure you would wish to follow it from the outset.
My dear fellow, I would not miss it for anything. I rapidly threw on my clothes and was ready in a few minutes. A lady dressed in black and heavily veiled, who had been sitting in the window, rose as we entered.
Good morning, madam. My name is Sherlock Holmes. This is my intimate friend, Dr. Watson. Ha! I am glad to see Mrs. Hudson has lit the fire. Pray draw up to it, and I shall order you a cup of hot coffee, for I observe that you are shivering.
It is not cold which makes me shiver.
What, then?
It is fear, Mr. Holmes. It is terror.
She raised her veil. We could see she was in a pitiable state of agitation, her face drawn and gray, with restless, frightened eyes, like those of some hunted animal.
You must not fear. We shall soon set matters right. You have come in by train this morning, I see.
You know me, then?
No. But I observed the second half of a return ticket in the palm of your left glove. You must have started early, and yet you had a good drive in a dog cart along heavy roads before you reached the station.
The lady gives a violent start.
There is no mystery, my dear madam. The left arm of your jacket is spattered with mud in no less than 7 places. The marks are perfectly fresh. There is no vehicle, save a dog cart, which throws up mud in that way, and then only when you sit on the left-hand side of the driver.
Whatever your reasons, you are perfectly correct. Sir, I can stand this strain no longer. I shall go mad if it continues. I have no one to turn to. I have heard of you from Mrs. Farintosh. Oh, sir, do you not think that you could help me too?
I shall be happy to devote the same care to your case as I did to that of your friend. As to reward, my profession is its own reward, and now I beg that you will lay before us everything that may help us.
Alas, the very horror of my situation lies in the fact that my fears are so vague and my suspicions depend on small points which might seem trivial to another. But I have heard, Mr. Holmes, that you can see deeply into the wickedness of the human heart.
I am all attention, madam.
My name is Helen Stoner, and I am living with my stepfather, the last survivor of one of the oldest Saxon families in England, the Roylotts of Stoke Moran.
The name is familiar to me.
The family was once among the richest in England. My stepfather obtained a medical degree and went out to Calcutta. In a fit of anger, however, he beat his native butler to death and suffered a long term of imprisonment. He returned to England a morose and disappointed man. In India, he married my mother, a young widow. My sister Julia and I were twins. My mother had a considerable sum of money, not less than 1,000 a year, which she bequeathed to Dr. Roylott while we resided with him, with the provision that a certain annual sum should be allowed to each of us in the event of our marriage. But a terrible change came over our stepfather. He shut himself up in his house and seldom came out, save to indulge in ferocious quarrels. He is a man of immense strength and absolutely uncontrollable in his anger. Last week, he hurled the local blacksmith over a parapet into a stream. He has no friends at all save the wandering gypsies. He also has a passion for Indian animals. At this moment, he has a cheetah and a baboon, which wander freely over his grounds. You can imagine my poor sister Julia and I had no great pleasure in our lives. She is dead. She died just 2 years ago, and it is of her death that I wish to speak to you. Julia went to visit our aunt at Christmas 2 years ago and met there a half-pay major of Marines, to whom she became engaged. My stepfather offered no objection, but within a fortnight of the day fixed for the wedding, the terrible event occurred.
Pray be precise as to details.
The bedrooms in our wing are on the ground floor. The first is Dr. Roylott's, the second my sister's, and the third my own. They all open into the same corridor. That fatal night, my sister came into my room. "Tell me, Helen," she said, "have you ever heard anyone whistle in the dead of the night?" "Never," I said, "because during the last few nights I have always, about 3 in the morning, heard a low, clear whistle. I am a light sleeper, and it has awakened me."
Indeed, was it your custom always to lock yourselves in at night?
Always. The doctor kept a cheetah and a baboon. We had no feeling of security unless our doors were locked.
Quite so. Pray proceed.
I could not sleep that night. It was a wild night. The wind was howling, the rain beating against the windows. Suddenly, there burst forth the wild scream of a terrified woman. It was my sister's voice. As I opened my door, I seemed to hear a low whistle, and a few moments later, a clanging sound. My sister's door was unlocked. By the light of the corridor lamp, I saw my sister appear at the opening, her face blanched with terror. I ran to her, but she fell to the ground. She writhed as one who is in terrible pain. As I bent over her, she shrieked out, "Oh, my God! Helen, it was the band! The Speckled band!" She stabbed with her finger towards the doctor's room, but a fresh convulsion seized her. I rushed out, calling for my stepfather. Said Evers. When he reached her side, she was unconscious. She died without recovering.
Are you sure about this whistle and metallic sound?
It is my strong impression that I heard it, and yet, among the crash of the gale, I may have been deceived.
And what conclusions did the coroner come to?
He was unable to find any satisfactory cause of death. The door had been fastened upon the inner side. The windows were blocked by old-fashioned shutters with broad iron bars. The walls and flooring were solid. Besides, there were no marks of violence upon her.
How about poison?
The doctors examined for it, but without success. It is my belief she died of pure fear. 2 years have passed. A month ago, a dear friend, Percy Armitage, has done me the honor to ask my hand in marriage. My stepfather has offered no opposition. 2 days ago, some repairs were started, and my bedroom wall has been pierced, so I have had to move into the chamber in which my sister died. Imagine my terror when last night I suddenly heard in the silence the low whistle which had been the herald of her own death. I sprang up and lit the lamp, but nothing was to be seen. I was too shaken to go to bed again. As soon as it was daylight, I slipped down and came here.
You have done wisely, but have you told me all?
Yes, all.
Miss Roylott, you have not. You are screening your stepfather. Oh!
For answer, Holmes pushed back the frill of black lace on her wrist. 5 little livid spots, the marks of 4 fingers and a thumb, were printed upon the white skin.
You have been cruelly used.
He is a hard man, and perhaps he hardly knows his own strength.
This is a very deep business. If we were to come to Stoke Moran today, would it be possible for us to see over these rooms without the knowledge of your stepfather?
As it happens, he spoke of coming into town today. It is probable that he will be away all day.
Excellent. You are not averse to this trip, Watson?
By no means.
I shall return by the 12 o'clock train.
Our door was suddenly dashed open, and a huge man framed himself in the aperture.
Drast is Holmes. You, which of you are Holmes and that looking deal?
My name, sir, but you have the advantage of me.
Right, I am Dr. Grimesby Roylott of Stoke Moran. My stepdaughter has been here. I've traced her. What has she been saying to you?
It is a little cold for the time of the year.
What has she been saying to you?
But I have heard that the crocuses promise well.
Ha! You put me off, do you? I know you, you scoundrel! You are Holmes, the meddler! Holmes, the busybody! Holmes, the Scotland Yard jacking office!
Your conversation is most entertaining. When you go out, close the door, for there is a decided draft.
I will go when I have had my say. Don't you dare to meddle with my affairs. I am a dangerous man to fall foul of. See here.
He stepped forward, seized the poker, and bent it into a curve with his huge brown hands.
Sound of metal groaning and bending. Said that you keep yourself out of my grip.
He hurled the twisted poker into the fireplace and strode out of the room.
He seems a very amiable person. I am not quite so bulky, but if he had remained, I might have shown him that my grip was not much more feeble than his own.
As he spoke, he picked up the steel poker and, with a sudden effort, straightened it out again.
Sound of metal straining and straightening.
He has the very strongest motives for standing in the way of his stepdaughter's marriages. And now, Watson, this is too serious for dawdling. If you're ready, we shall call a cab and drive to Waterloo. I should be very much obliged if you would slip your revolver into your pocket.
We hired a trap at Leatherhead and drove for miles through the lovely Surrey lanes. From amid a grove of trees jutted out the gray gables of a very old mansion.
Stoke Moran? Yes, sir. That be the house of Dr. Grimesby Roylott.
Our client hurried forward to meet us.
I have been waiting so eagerly for you. All has turned out splendidly. Dr. Roylott has gone to town.
We have had the pleasure of making the doctor's acquaintance.
Good heavens! He has followed me then?
You must lock yourself up from him tonight. Now, we must make the best use of our time. Kindly take us at once to the rooms which we are to examine.
We passed at once to the second chamber, in which her sister had met her fate. Holmes drew a chair into a corner and sat silent, his eyes traveling round, taking in every detail.
Where does that bell communicate with?
It goes to the housekeeper's room. It was only put there a couple of years ago.
Holmes took the bell rope and gave it a brisk tug.
Why, it's a dummy. It is not even attached to a wire. You can see it is fastened to a hook just above the little opening for the ventilator. What a fool a builder must be to open a ventilator into another room when he might have communicated with the outside air.
Dr. Roylott's chamber was larger. A camp bed, a shelf of books, an armchair, a wooden chair, a round table, and a large iron safe.
What's in here? Well, look at this.
He took up a small saucer of milk which stood on the top of it.
We don't keep a cat, but there is a cheetah and a baboon.
The object which had next caught his eye was a small dog lash. The lash was curled upon itself and tied so as to make a loop.
What do you make of that, Watson? Ah, me, it's a wicked world. I think that I have seen enough now, Miss Stoner. It is very essential, Miss Stoner, that you should absolutely follow my advice. Your life may depend upon it. Both my friend and I must spend the night in your room.
Both Miss Stoner and I gazed at him in astonishment.
When you hear him retire, you must open the shutters of your window, put your lamp there as a signal to us, and then withdraw quietly into the room you used to occupy. The rest you will leave in our hands.
Then, for pity's sake, tell me what was the cause of my sister's death.
I should prefer to have clearer proofs. No, I do not think she died from fright. I think that there was probably some more tangible cause. Do you know, Watson, I have really some scruples as to taking you tonight. There is a distinct element of danger.
Can I be of assistance?
Your presence might be invaluable.
Then I shall certainly come.
You saw the ventilator? I knew we should find one before we ever came. Her sister could smell Dr. Roylott's cigar. That suggested a communication. A ventilator is made, a cord is hung, and a lady who sleeps in the bed dies. Does not that strike you? Did you observe the bed? It was clamped to the floor. It must always be in the same position to the ventilator and the rope.
Holmes, I seem to see dimly what you are hinting at. We are only just in time to prevent some subtle and horrible crime.
Subtle enough and horrible enough, but we shall have horrors enough before the night is over.
At 11, a single bright light shone out. That is our signal. I slipped off my shoes and found myself inside the bedroom. Holmes noiselessly closed the shutters.
The least sound would be fatal to our plans. We must sit without light. Do not go asleep. Your very life may depend upon it.
How shall I ever forget that dreadful vigil? We waited in absolute darkness. 12 struck, and 1 and 2 and 3. Suddenly, there was the gleam of a light from the ventilator, which vanished, but was succeeded by a strong smell of burning oil. Then suddenly, another sound became audible. A very gentle, soothing sound, like that of a small jet of steam. The instant we heard it, Holmes sprang from the bed, struck a match, and lashed furiously with his cane at the bell pull.
Sound of a match striking, followed by the sharp crack of a cane lashing through the air.
You see it, Watson? You see it? Anyway, any text.
But I saw nothing. At that moment, I heard a low, clear whistle. I could see Holmes's face was deadly pale. He was gazing up at the ventilator when suddenly there broke from the silence the most horrible cry to which I have ever listened. It swelled up louder and louder, a hoarse yell of pain and fear and anger all mingled in one dreadful shriek.
A horrific, blood-curdling scream that echoes and then fades.
What can it mean?
It means that it is all over. And perhaps, after all, it is for the best. Take your pistol, and we will enter Dr. Roylott's room.
On the wooden chair sat Dr. Grimesby Roylott. His eyes were fixed in a dreadful, rigid stare at the corner of the ceiling. Round his brow he had a peculiar yellow band with brownish speckles.
The band! The speckled band!
I took a step forward. In an instant his strange headgear began to move, and there reared itself from among his hair the squat, diamond-shaped head and puffed neck of a loathsome serpent.
It is a swamp adder, the deadliest snake in India. He has died within 10 seconds of being bitten. Violence does, in truth, recoil upon the violent. Let us thrust this creature back into its den.
Such are the true facts of the death of Dr. Grimesby Roylott. The slow process of official inquiry came to the conclusion that the doctor met his fate while indiscreetly playing with a dangerous pet. The little I had yet to learn was told me by Holmes as we traveled back next day.
I had come to an entirely erroneous conclusion, which shows how dangerous it is to reason from insufficient data. The gypsies and the word band put me upon an entirely wrong scent. My attention was speedily drawn to the ventilator and the dummy bell rope. The discovery that the bed was clamped to the floor gave rise to the suspicion that the rope was a bridge for something passing through the hole. The idea of a snake instantly occurred to me. The idea of using a poison, which could not be discovered by any chemical test, would occur to a clever man with an Eastern training. Then I thought of the whistle. He must recall the snake before morning. He had trained it, probably by the use of the milk, to return when summoned. He would put it through the ventilator with the certainty that it would crawl down the rope and land on the bed. Sooner or later, she must fall a victim. The metallic clang was caused by him hastily closing the door of his safe upon its terrible occupant. Having once made up my mind, you know the steps I took. I heard the creature hiss, lit the light, and attacked it.
With the result of driving it through the ventilator.
And also with the result of causing it to turn upon its master. Some of my blows came home and roused its snakish temper. In this way, I am no doubt indirectly responsible for Dr. Grimesby Roylott's death, and I cannot say that it is likely to weigh very heavily upon my conscience.